Good evening and welcome to this, the February 24th meeting of the Livermore City Council. I now call the meeting to order. Let the roll call show that all members of the council are present and accounted for. Tonight we have a special treat. We have some scouts from Troop 950, and I would like to ask them to come up and conduct the Pledge of Allegiance. Come on up, guys. Troop from MSC Smith School. All right, let's.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well done. Thank you. Okay, a question for the city attorney. Was there any reportable action taken during the closed session?
Mr. Mayor, no, there was not.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Moving on to the proclamations and presentations, we have a report or annual update from the Human Services Commission. So we have Evan Branning here. Great. Thank you for the tremendous work that you do.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having us, and thank you very much for having an entire meeting just for this announcement. So I have
It's that important.
It's very important stuff, and thank you for all the work you've been doing on it. Unlike usual, I actually have notes this time, so if I'm a little bit halting, I apologize on that. But basically, I'm here to update you on the outcomes of the 2018-2019 grant cycle, as well as some of the other work that the Human Services Commission is currently working on. And so just to start with some highlights from the last grant cycle, we had abode tenant-based rental assistance targets the homeless and those at risk of homelessness, assisting 8 individuals with tenant-based rental assistance. Meals on Wheels served 170 Livermore's seniors. The Child Abuse Listening, Interviewing, and Coordinating Center, or CALICO, conducted child abuse forensic interviews and provided guidance and referrals for approximately 96 children. Eden Council for Hope and Opportunity, Echo Housing, provided fair housing counseling and landlord-tenant dispute resolution services for over 397 Livermore residents. Cyril, the Community Resource and Independent Living, provided peer counseling and independent living skills, housing search assistance, and travel training for 115 disabled Livermore residents. And City Serve of the Tri-Valley provided crisis stabilization for 509 clients. So those are just a couple examples of what we've done with the grant money that we've been provided from a number of sources. So there are federal, state, and city grants that we help administer. Those are just a few of the things that we're able to fund. We're very grateful for the ability to be able to help people in this city. There are, all of the funding that we've done is in line with the 2015 to 2019 5-year consolidated plan. Just to refresh you, the consolidated plan, which is this cycle is ending very soon, asks the Commission to help the city in supporting the development of supporting and develop a continuum of housing resources that will increase access to low-income seniors, disabled, and homeless persons. Provide assistance to all persons or households who are on the verge of becoming homeless and those who are currently experiencing homelessness. Support initiatives that increase a low-income individual's ability to increase their household income. Improve community health and access to basic and specialty care, including dental and optometry care, substance abuse, behavioral and mental health care services, especially for low-income, underinsured and uninsured residents. Foster and encourage innovative programs that meet emerging community needs with emphasis on low-income and undeserving populations. In addition to administering the grants, the Human Services Commission worked to make sure that to meet with different funding providers to see their operations and to help that guide us in the grant process. We held in 2018 2 community needs workshops with a homeless community focus. The workshops helped provide information that helped guide us through the 2019 cycle. There are a couple of other things that I want to address while I'm up here. So those are some of our successes. Currently, we're using the Social Opportunity Endowment Funds, the SOE funds. The city uses approximately 80,000 of those funds to fund public services in Livermore. Unfortunately, there's only roughly 2 years left of funding in that fund, so it's expected to run out in as little as 2 years. That 80,000 goes a long way for anyone who's listening who's not aware. While the city does get a large amount of money to spend on homelessness and services, a very small percentage of that is actually able to go to service providers, so the people who are providing food, mental health, substance abuse treatment. The Social Opportunity Endowment Fund is one of the main sources of funding for those public services. So we're hoping that there's something that we can do to extend that program beyond the 2 years of its life that remain. There's also a couple of things. When I became the chair of the Human Services Commission, one of the things I spoke with the commission about was the desire for the Human Services Commission to be a more active commission, to be able to help in more ways. We're really looking forward to opportunities to working with council, to working with the homeless subcommittee of the council, and to be able to try to find ways to be as productive as possible. We want to be your eyes and ears and bring you as much information as we can. One of the things we're hoping to do is we're hoping to bring back, when we redo the 5-year consolidated plan, or do the next cycle of the 5-year consolidated plan, to come with a couple of requests that we're working on with the staff. So the staff and the commission are working together to expand public outreach and information, to improve the grant application process, and to move to a community needs and assessment model where we can find more information from the community while assessing the grants. So with that, I want to thank the council and I want to thank the staff for all of the hard work they've done. I particularly want to thank Claudia Young, our staff liaison, for everything she has done for the city. She is working very hard and has put in a lot of hours to help the commission be successful, as well as to help make sure that the grant process and the homeless services and human services in the city are successful as well. With that, I'm open to any questions that the council may have. And I thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Okay. Great, well, you're doing phenomenal work, so thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
That was fast. I had one question, which is you went really fast through where the money had gone and how the work that the Human Services Commission does. And were I not here, I'm not sure how I would find out about it. So you mentioned in here that one of the things was to expand education. I would wonder if there's a way you could start with just getting this report out, because I think it's important for people to know.
Thank you for that feedback. I will.
Oh, and it was great.
Thank you. I'll speak with Claudia about how we can get this out. But one of the things we're hoping to do when we talk about the 5-year consolidated plan is talk about how we can also, as a commission, help make sure that this information is getting out, for both how the information can get out and how people can be more involved outside of the commission as well. So, thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, moving on to Citizens Forum. These are items that are not on the agenda. The City Council can neither deliberate nor take action on these items. I ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. With that, we have Greg Scott, Jeff Caskey, George Farquhar.
Good evening, Livermore City Council, City of Livermore staff, audience members in the chambers, video audience, and likely video audience members, Alameda County Supervisor, District 1 candidates, Fremont City Councilman Vinnie Bacon, and Dublin City Councilwoman Melissa Hernandez. I am Greg Scott. Homelessness is uncivil. Yes, it is in part personal responsibility. It is also a manifestation of the failure of the trickle-down economics and neoliberalism that has grown for 4 decades. In the Republican primary of 1980, Senior Bush, George H.W. Bush, called trickle-down supply-side economics economics of candidate Ronald Reagan, voodoo economics. Are there enough pins in the voodoo dolls of the poor, the lower class, the working class, and the middle class yet, 40 years later? Neoliberalism was greatly accentuated by the Clinton administrations. NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement of 1993, resulted in the loss of over 650,000 American manufacturing jobs. The safety net was greatly weakened. The Financial Services Modernization Act of 1999 resulted in the Glass-Steagall Act of the Great Depression, the repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act of the Great Depression, and thus allowed the merger of commercial and investment banks and set us up for the subprime loan bubble burst, resulting in the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009. Taxpayers loaned banks over $650 billion for the economy to continue functioning. We have yet to deal with our contorted and manipulated macroeconomic situation. On the day after the last Livermore City Council meeting, Tuesday, February 11th, the Federal Reserve Bank Corporation Chairman Powell testified before Congress that he was going to limit liquidity. That same day, the Federal Reserve Bank Corporation did a liquidity injection of over $68 billion. Audience, does that seem like a limiting of liquidity to you? We cannot keep throwing gobs of money at homelessness and expect miraculous results. Our approaches to homelessness are having far too limited success. In the matters of initiation of the last Livermore City Council meeting, Councilwoman Monroe mentioned the County of Alameda coddled nonprofit Everyone Home. In Everyone Home's latest report in the executive summary is the statement, homes end homelessness. No, they do not. First, we need an adequate service provider support structure. If you cannot pay service provider personnel enough to get housing, what are we thinking? In a state with under 300,000 affordable units, housing units, and 1.3 million individuals at or below the federal poverty level, what are we thinking? How fast are we able and how much is it going to cost to build the adequate number of affordable housing units? We are not being realistic. I wish Councilman Carling, Associate Community Director Uranga, Mayoral Candidate Mr. Knopp, and City Serve Executive Director Christine Beach Bamani a safe travel to Austin, Texas to learn about the homeless situation and the 5-acre parcel for the homeless there. Texas Governor Abbott and the City of Austin have been quite harsh in criminalizing homelessness. My thanks to the board of the City Serve for inviting me to lunch and giving me 15 minutes to speak last Thursday. As a result, City Serve was present in force at Vineyard Church this morning, where homeless received food, showers, and assistance from multiple nonprofits. The City Serve Executive Director informed me that City Serve has prevented 76 households, including children, from going into homelessness. In Gavin Newsom's recent State Address, which was mostly about homelessness, he stated, "As Californians, we pride ourselves on our unwavering sense of compassion and justice for humankind, but there's nothing compassionate about allowing fellow Californians to live on the streets, huddled in cars, or makeshift encampments."
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Jeff Caskey, George Farquhar, Michael Frederick.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Jeff Caskey, as we know. A couple of meetings ago, the council put up this map. I had to capture it from the Channel TV 30 broadcast, so it's a little fuzzy. But that map went up, and the map shows their conjecture about what could happen with the size of the sites that the Central Park Plan is proposing for their buildings. And the statement was made that obviously our map is very wrong because look at the space, and these two blocks are shown as 30,000 square feet. Well, we knew that that was wrong. I mean, clearly, if you take a look at the initiative shows that it's absolutely impossible by the language of the initiative to put the space anything other than a park there. And likewise, so for either the Quest building or for the Black Box Theater, these map figures are clearly wrong. Okay, that's fine. City Council was on an item that was intended to go fact-finding, and I presume that you will immediately correct that. I heard the mayor say just a few minutes ago, got to get the facts out there, and so I'm hoping that you'll do that. In addition, I mean, how does this 30,000 square feet work? Well, it's because if you read the initiative, it actually says that a minimum height of 2 stories is applicable to both of those sites. So at the very worst, it's only half the space that's shown there. So you take the half the space and you take the map over here, and clearly the map that was shown by the City Council is incorrect. I'm assuming you will fix that. But what's the implication of this? Well, okay, you'll fix that, the information will go correct. But this also turns out to be the way that the park estimates were made for the 9212 report. The 9212 report says that they looked at the maximum development potential. They did some tricks. Obviously, the goal was to be, as politically positive as possible. And so when they, for instance, looked at the Quest Center, even though the group that the city has a development NRA with, a development agreement,
is only proposing 20,000 square feet. They still evaluated the site at 30,000. And even though the Black Box Theater is with a partner that's looking at 15,000 square feet, they also went with 30,000 square feet. But still, okay, that's fine. So that's bad measurement, but good politics. But I think the issue then is that when they went and did the calculation, they said that they calculated based on these footprints. They went on the maximum available footprint. So let's scale it down. Never mind, okay, we'll stick with your 30,000 square feet, but it's got to be 2 stories. So we're going to say 15,000 square feet here, 15,000 square feet there. So you're over by 30,000 square feet. It turns out that the 9212 report talks about the fact that they could only calculate 2.37 acres of park in the Central Park plan. 30,000 square feet is just over 0.6 acres. You put those together, and there's the 3 acres that, in fact, the Central Park plan has all along said that their park has. So I'm hoping that you will correct all that. Also, I think that you'll find it's an error in your ballot statement as well. Thank you.
George Farquhar, Michael Frederick, Ron Payne.
Hello, thank you for your time tonight. My name is George Farquhar. I've lived in Livermore for 15 years. It's a beautiful community, and from the email you received last week, you should be well aware that I'm very passionate about the trees and our natural environment in Livermore. A couple things I wanted to point out is after I sent the email to the council, I am very grateful to live in a community that was incredibly responsive. And Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for your message back to me that all efforts will be made to preserve the trees unless they're in need to go for public safety. So I don't want to take a lot of time. The other thing I wanted to say is I really want to commend everybody, including Scott and his team, the Livermore Police, when it got a little intense with me between the trees and the chainsaw, for their professionalism and to keep everything calm and cool. I really appreciate the quick response from the city council and government, and also just everyone handled things incredibly well, and I'm proud to live in this town because of that. Thank you.
Mr. Farquhar, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate your concern and your input. So thank you very much for reaching out.
All right, thank you. You have a great night.
Michael Frederick, Ron Payne, Marianne Brent.
On Saturday, February 22nd, I was returning home about 11 a.m. I drove up a Royal Road, and at that time, there were quite a few no on P signs along my route. Later that afternoon, perhaps 4:30 or 5, I drove the same route and discovered almost all of the signs were gone. Driving along a Royal Road between Wetmore and College, I found that almost all signs I posted only a few days before, and some posted by others, were gone. I have been told that a no on P sign on a Royal Road disappeared within 30 minutes after posting. Maybe not coincidentally, there were yes on P canvassers in the area of, and at the time, the signs disappeared. If this theft was an exception, I would not be here, but it's not. No on P signs are systematically being stolen over and over. Signs I have posted multiple times disappear within 48 hours. There is a pervasive and systematic theft of no signs. I'm sure some yes signs have been stolen or vandalized, but not nearly to the extent that has happened to no signs. Your demonization of people who disagree with you have given others permission to do this kind of theft and vandalism. Tell your supporters to stop this immoral and criminal activity. And by the way, contrary to a recent online post, there are no paid no on P sign posters. Boy, that's tough.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, easy for me to say. But that's another falsehood. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Frederick. Ron Payne, Marianne Brent, Peg Folta.
Thank you for your time. I just got to put out something. It's going to go take 30 seconds, but while I'm here, I might want to put out something. I'm a retired veteran at Las Positas College. Every time a veteran gets out, they always try to find a place to call home. I got to say, in my 26 years, I've been to a lot of communities, but seeing Livermore, the way it embraces its veteran population, at Las 600 veterans over there, I guess I'll be speaking for them. Thank you guys. I know you guys don't get to see them say it, but I'm coming here and saying it for them because I'm part of Veterans First program and the SV over there, but we don't get a chance to come out here individually. 700 vets come up here and say thank you for showing up at our 9/11 event. Thank you for showing up at our 2.2 to bring suicidal awareness. This community and these people back here paying for meals. It's really weird getting out after all these years and finding a community that doesn't have a major army post. It just, for some odd reason, you keep your word. And seeing the march and that Veterans Memorial, it's amazing when I go back and I talk to Todd and Evelyn and I talk to the other veterans and say, you guys got to enjoy this and try to be a part of this community, because there are some places that they need to catch up. Y'all need to be on somebody's wall or something to give them a diagram, but because again, 26 years, I know that's not saying much, but I'm very, very proud to be here in Livermore and the Tri-Valley area. But your college and some of the things you guys do is more than a handshake. It's more than a thank you for your service. It's a kind of action. And I'm saying that for my battle buddies up there that don't get the opportunity to be in front of you guys all the time. But what I had to put out is it's a special invitation. We're going to be honoring at Las Positas our women vet, our most important part of our military, honoring our women vets on March 11th. We're inviting the entire community to come out there. There are going to be some scholarships given out, and going to be a panel of women veterans with different who did different things in the military, and that'd be the opportune time to ask these great women what they feel about the military, how they see it moving, and what can we do better as well, I don't know, Livermore can't do anything better afterwards, but what we can do better to help the situation dealing with vets in the military and vets out in the military. But again, thank you so much for allowing me to come up here. And if anybody wanted to, again, that's March 11th at Las Positas. We'll be coming back here more often. And
What time?
sorry about that. 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.
10 to 12:30.
Yes, and the emails will be going out, and I'll be dropping these off as well.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much. Todd does an amazing job. I saw you at President Foster's welcome that we had.
Yes, sir.
That was a great event.
Right.
And we just last month celebrated the 5th anniversary of the engineering community
Yes, sir.
program and the Vets to Tech program, which was recognized with an innovation award by the East Bay Economic Development Alliance. So there's amazing work being done at Las Positas, and I'm very proud that you're a part of that. And thank you so much
thank
for
you so
what
much.
you've done. Thank you. Mary Ann Brent, Peg Folta, and Jonathan Mulrooney.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members and staff. I have a few comments this evening about parks. So the National Recreation and Park Association encourages cities to build parks for 3 reasons: economic value, health and environmental benefits, and social advantages. So economic value. Parks attract business activity. That means that a central park would bring local and visiting customers to our First Street businesses. Thus, our park could be used as a marketing tool and improve the tax base. For health, the trees and greeneries in parks make us healthier. They encourage us to exercise, provide shade and oxygen, and attract birds and small wildlife. Park plantings also improve the air we breathe by filtering particulates. A Penn State University study found that when people connect with nature, their stress levels decrease due to a spontaneous, mood-enhancing effect. The social benefits of parks are important as well. People are happy in parks because of their intrinsic attractiveness. When we have an attractive space to gather friends, family, and acquaintances, life is good. So a large park downtown will boost Livermore's identity. The Central Park Plan Park has 3 acres, and the city plan has about 1 acre. In the November vote, we will have the opportunity to choose between the city plan and the Central Park Plan if we vote no on Measure P now. I encourage Livermore to vote no on P on March the 3rd. Thank you.
Ms. Brent, if I could just a quick question. In the 3 acres that you stated that the Central Park drawing has in that park, I believe that includes the Shea Plaza in front of the Bankhead Theater. It does. But in your calculation of the city's approved plan and that park and open space, that same space, the Bankhead Plaza, is not included in that calculation. I was just curious why the Bankhead Plaza is included in one park calculation but not in the other, because it's the same open space.
Mr. Mayor, I think Mr. Caskey
No, but
covered that.
you stated that that total. So I was just curious, but that's fine. If you don't have the answer, then that's fine. Thank you. I think then Peg Folta and Jonathan Mulrooney.
Thank you. I'm a resident of Livermore for the last 30 years, and tonight I'm here to read a letter from the community. This is developed and signed by citizens across the city that have great concern over the divisiveness surrounding the Measure P vote. So I'm just going to read this. Vote yes on Measure P. The choice is simple. Measure P is only about one thing: building a hotel next to the Bankhead Theater, or delay finishing our beautiful downtown for many years. Yes on P builds a hotel strategically located near the Bankhead Theater that supports local businesses and restaurants and improves the overall quality of the city. Yes on P integrates the hotel with traffic, parking, and pedestrians for safer and more efficient passing through and access to our downtown and the Bankhead Theater. Yes on P moves us forward by starting construction this year. Any alternative hotel plan will result in another 4+ years delay, assuming that both a new developer and a location could be found. Yes on P means we keep control of our downtown planning and its land use. New state laws have restricted how land can be used. If we change plans now, we may lose control of our future to the California state bureaucracy. Yes on P is a truly grassroots campaign with support from businesses, cultural groups, wineries, restaurants, over 180 individual donors, and approved by our elected city council, who crafted a downtown plan overwhelmingly endorsed by voters last November. Let's look at the opposition. No on P campaign is not grassroots. Whatever they claim, No on P is sponsored by 2 wealthy families who have donated more than $1 million to bend the voters to their will. The alternative hotel location endorsed by No on P supporters is no longer viable and not suitable, and a suitable site has not been found. What developer would invest in a city with no feasible location, combined with continuing political maneuvering? For over 2 years, the No on P campaign has conducted a misinformation blitz designed to confuse and divide our community. They have used their ownership of the independent distribution of slick and misleading flyers in your mailbox, intrusive and intrusions through our personal cell phones, and hiring aggressive out-of-town canvassers that have interfered with our lives and who are paid to get signatures on referendums by making false claims. The No on P campaign has degraded the reputation of the city of Livermore and cost taxpayers hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in election costs, staff resources, lost economic opportunities, and rising construction costs. Livermore residents are better than this, and we deserve better than this. It's time to come together, move forward, and finish our downtown. Yes on P is a yes for the Livermore's future. This letter was written by or signed by over 120 people in the first 24 hours it was passed citizen to citizen, and I suspect by now it's been signed by many more.
Ms. Folta, thank you very much. Jonathan Mulrooney and Carl Wente.
Jonathan Mulrooney. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Fear tactics and half-truths are not the way to win an election. The smear campaign against the No on P effort is threatening our community with non-issues. You insult our cause, you dismiss it as bogus, a drawing, and then you demonize our community leaders. You call them no-goods, frauds. Now I've witnessed proponents of the city's plan run an organized misinformation campaign to push a personal agenda. And Mr. Mayor, you talk about getting the facts right, and then I see doctored maps of the downtown plan. We don't need a 4-year delay to transition over to the citizens' plan. Things are done simultaneously. There is no parcel tax, and the recent laws passed in Sacramento are non-issues. They're relevant. And then I see letters from Presidio executive, Mr. Rakesh Patel, and I see him independent, and he himself admits the real reason why big shots in Livermore are back in the city's plan. They all have their hand in the cookie jar. Livermore deserves better, and I encourage others in my community to resist the pressure to cave to political power and to send a message to the fat cats up top. The little people are standing up, and we're going to vote no on P. I have no further comment.
Carl Wente.
Mr. Mayor, council, staff, those that put on a bulletproof vest to go to work and support us and keep it safe, salute you. To those on staff and behind, Mr. Chief of Police, thank you for what you do. I was taken by some of the comments in the likes of thank you for your responsive nature and you're quick to get back to the community. That's something to be celebrated, that we're a community whereby you can go in and ask questions about what is good government, of the people, for the people, by the people, and what does it mean. Means you must be available. Like, you signed up for that, but you are, and you got some compliments from people I've never met before. From the veteran as well, saying just thank you. Like, you keep your word. You do. I'll be the first one to tell you anytime you don't. So, like, appreciate it. It's tough doing what you do, but in terms of can't be better, that's what the veteran said. He said, you can't be better, and you all laughed. And I know that Mr. Scott behind me, I'm addressing you, not him, I'd say we can be better, and may we continue to aspire to be better. Every day, may we be better. Doing a great job, and may we be better as we go. I want to strongly condemn anybody that touches any sign out there that is legally put up as part of our First Amendment right to express ourselves as part of a free and open election. Anybody that touches any signs, you should be condemned. Please don't do it. Please don't do it in our community. I live just outside of town. I drive that Arroyo stretch that was mentioned daily, every day, twice a day. I don't agree with the numbers assessment in terms of what's happened out there, but I'm not going to get into accounting, he said, she said. Please, everybody, leave the signs. Let the process happen. In terms of telling people how to vote, what we should vote on and the likes, I just want to say, please vote. Please vote. I'm going to say it again. Maybe the camera's out there. Please vote. Exercise that right. What an awesome right that we have. Do I support the city plan? Yes, the process of government that I bore witness to as it goes. So, but please vote. Please come out and speak your mind. Please, may we continue to wage a campaign of truth and accuracy and getting the information on the table so we know what's out there. Please, may we wage a campaign of truth in the best way that we can in the unknown natures of what the state laws will do coming forward. AB 1486, SB 30, it didn't pass. Maybe it's coming there. There's a few others that are out there. It's going to impact us. We don't know exactly how. May we continue to do the best job that we can, gathering all of the information and making the best decision you can, leveraging the phenomenal group of people that are here that are trying to do the best by the community, because they're an awesome group of people there. So I salute you. I commend you for what you do. And again, may we all exercise our right to vote. What a privilege it is. What an awesome thing that we have here in this wonderful world of Livermore, the state of California, and the Union, and to the flag for which it stands. Thank you all for what you do. Cheers.
Thank you, Mr. Wente. A couple of comments. One of the speakers tonight talked about the importance of the cities building parks. and a study that showed the importance of that, and I certainly agree. What's interesting is that Livermore is the only city on this side of the hill that doesn't operate parks. The voters decided that it was better to have a separate park district to do parks. And I'm all about parks, and that, in fact, the city owns parkland, but we actually work with LARPD to manage that parkland. We don't. So Livermore is quite a bit different. We don't operate parks. So whatever we end up in the downtown is going to be a little bit different. But as I thought, it was curious that Shea Plaza is included in one calculation but not in the other. To Mr. Wente's point about the signs, I will fully admit that I have touched no on P signs to put them back up. When I see them falling down, because we had some heavy winds there for a while, I put them back up. I've never seen one that was cut. I've never seen a no on P sign cut, even though they're paper. But I admit that there's been some tremendous vandalism of signs. I know that for a fact because I've seen it. But as I said, so I have touched no on P signs, but it's to put them back up because I want the facts to be out there, and I want people to be able to make a fully informed decision where they can compare and decide. Speaker got up tonight and suggested that all of us up here have a personal agenda. We were all elected to serve this community. That is my agenda. And you also suggested that our hands are in the cookie jar, which means you are questioning our integrity, and you are suggesting that we are corrupt and that we're on the take. And I submit that everyone up here is passionate about this community. We are not on the take, and we have all dedicated our lives to integrity. And I assure you that that is what motivates us. There is no other agenda. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. These are items that, thank you, Mr. Farquhar. These are items that are not on the agenda, or excuse me, they are on the agenda. I'm sorry. These are typically passed with a single motion. They're rather routine in nature. Does anybody wish to pull anything for question or comment on the consent calendar? Okay, I do have one speaker card. That's 4.03. This is the resolution accepting the Altamont Landfill Open Space Committee's recommendation, and this is for grant programs and I'm sorry, this is the Altamont Open Space Funds for University of California and the Open Space Funds at Davis and the Alameda County Resource Conservation District. Mr. Scott.
Greg Scott. I want to promote any study for the conservation that you're doing here. I studied agriculture, biology, and the situation actually is pretty dire out there. And for agriculture, we definitely need biological diversity. One study I've seen that we estimate there's 5.5 million species of insects, and then at short order we're going to lose about 1 million of them. Well, 1 out of every 3 bites of food we need pollinators, and we're losing our pollinators. So it's a hard juxtaposition with housing, but we're going to have to come to a balance between the two. We can't keep destroying the lands, and watching some of the lands destroyed is unnerving. I hope we can do the most we can to protect the scenic corridor, protect the wildlife, and somehow try to reverse the biodiversity loss we have. We're under a drastic biodiversity loss globally. We know that because of certain technologies, LIDAR, light distance and ranging, We can look at the 17 major forests in the world and determine it's over 8,700 tree species. We know we're losing species, and we also know along with that we're losing biomass. Deeply disturbing. We can't keep doing this and supporting our agriculture. It's not going to happen with, and we have 7.7 billion people on the planet. We have another 220-some thousand born every day. We've lost half of our topsoil. We've lost 30% of our arable land since 1960. We are going to have to grow 30 or 40% more food in about 30 more seasons. I don't know how we can do that, but we look at techno-optimistic wizardry. Who knows? CRISPR, who knows? But it can't be beneficial to us to keep losing biodiversity and biomass. So what we can do to preserve it, study it, and reverse the trend would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. And going over the grants, 4.02, I thought it was interesting. There was several grants where they're talking about, on one hand, using reusable flatware, on the other hand, using compostable flatware. So we have two studies using different means of conservation, and of course the several on composting as well. The quick question that I have on the 4.04, let's see. So just, I know there's a variety of things, 4.04. Could we look into using some of that grant to perhaps, or is it possible to look into using some of those grant funds to enforce the no smoking ordinance in the downtown? I occasionally get some complaints from folks about that. So, okay, all right, great. Thank you very much. All right, with that, do I have any other comments on the consent calendar? Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Moved by Councilmember Carling, seconded by Councilmember Coomber. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, we have no public hearings. We have no matters for consideration. So there was a question about why we had this meeting. I wanted to make sure that people did have an opportunity to speak before the election. Make sure you get out there and vote, whatever side you may be on. Read the ballot arguments, read the ballot statements, read the legislation, get out there and vote. That's what makes the difference. We want people to make informed decisions. So with that, there being no further business, meeting adjourned.
We should do more like those. That was a good one. Matters for consideration. You already closed it. See ya.
Yeah, closed it. Yeah, all right.